Welcome back to Feel Better with Lauren. I'm Lauren. Thanks for joining me. You know, it's always easy to forget the progress that I've made over the years. And that's because doing these videos, the change each day is very small. It's really incremental. And that's a terrible reinforcer for overall progress. So the only solution is to specifically and consciously remember how you feel when you start something. And that's what today's video is all about. There's a few people that have just started watching the channel, and this is specifically going out to my friend Rob who started. I want you to come back in a little while, and I want this video to be crazy easy for you. I want you to remember how you feel right now as you do it, and I want you to remember how you feel now a little while later, how easy it is, and I want you to realize that you do indeed feel better. So today is for a few people who are just starting to watch the channel, in particular my friend Rob. Hey Rob. I'm doing this at the bottom of my bed because this is where I often do my yoga. You don't need a lot of space, and I just wanted to demonstrate that. I have a great mat. I think that it's worth getting that, but see how you feel. You don't need that right now. There's a couple of concepts I want you to think about as we're doing this, and the first one is finding your edge. And finding your edge is when you're stretching or into something and you just start to feel a little bit of discomfort. So you may not be super mobile right now. If you can sit cross-legged, that's fantastic. And as you sort of bend over, you might feel a little bit of stress in your back. And you come up to that point and then just back off of that a little bit. And that's the edge that you're going to ride for the entire practice. We're going to hold these poses a little bit longer, and you're going to just sort of work through mentally and physically of relaxing into these poses. And each time you do these things, you'll find that you can do a little bit more. Now we connect everything to our breath. And so as we breathe in, we can create space in our body. So if you picture breathing in, your spine expands and goes to the ceiling, and that's created a bunch of space. And then as you breathe out, you can fold into that space, and you can find that you can actually bend and move a little bit more. But again, you're not pushing that. Another concept that we're going to do that we often do here is called Ujjayi breathing. And that's breathing in and out through your nose and restraining the back of your throat. The way to think about that is if you're fogging up a mirror, you close your mouth and just breathe through your nose, and that sort of restrains the back of your throat. It gives you focused breathing, and there's a bunch of different benefits from that. So today, let's just find somewhere, if you're lucky enough to be able to sit cross-legged, let's just sit cross-legged. You could also kneel if that was good. You could also have your feet out if that's good. We're just going to get a stretch going. I'm going to start in cross-legged. Now here's another thing that I'm going to have a towel here. I'm going to sit on the towel, and that'll raise my hips, and that'll actually allow me to bend a little bit more. Just that little couple of inches is good. I have a couple of great blocks that I use for balancing myself. I don't think we need to do that today. We'll just sit comfortably here at the sort of the back of your mat. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose for the whole practice. But at the beginning, I breathe in big through my nose and then push all that air out through my mouth. And that just gets rid of this residual air that everybody carries in. We don't really breathe entirely through our lungs. There's some residual air there. So I replace all that air at the beginning with sort of fresh oxygenated stuff, and it's a good place to start. So just relaxed here. You can sort of feel what's touching the ground. You can sort of feel what's moving. You could be cross-legged or not. You're going to breathe in through your nose and blow out all the air from your lungs through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now we can continue on doing this Ujjayi breathing, this restrained throat breathing in and out through your nose. And try to keep that breathing going through the whole time. But if you can't, you can always breathe in and out through your mouth. So let's just sit cross-legged here. Let's just sort of move your body a little bit as you go. And as you sort of move and twist and move your neck, you can sort of feel where your body is sort of resisting a little bit. I can feel it on the neck. One side is usually different than the other. Move your head all around. Now that you've moved a little bit, let's just find some sort of relaxation here sitting. So we're going to sit cross-legged. We're going to inhale, again, always through our nose, and put our hands right above our head as far as you can reach to the ceiling. As you inhale, and that expands your spine up. And as you exhale, sort of fall forward, hinging at your hips, and put your hands in front of you. And what we're going to do is with each inhale, we create some space, and each exhale, we fall into that space. And you'll feel just the difference over a few breaths of how much more bendy you can be. Now, if you're sitting up straight and this is giving you enough of a sensation right here, it's the sensation. You're on your edge already. If you can go flat because that's what you do, you can do that as well. I'm somewhere in between, so inhale and exhale, relax in front of you. And inhale and relax in front of you. And inhale. Just a few more breaths. A nice inhale in, and slowly push yourself up. Now, cross your legs the other way if you're lucky to be sitting in cross-legged. We'll do the other side, and this will just stretch the other half of your back. So again, your hands above your head, reach for the sky. Inhale up, and then exhale, fall forward to wherever it is. And we'll do the same number of breaths. Inhale to create some space, and exhale to fall into that space. Now inhale, and then exhale, push yourself all the way up. Now, because we're sort of noting how we feel, how does that feel on your back? You're going to remember this for later. I'm going to roll over, and I'm going to go onto my knees. You can get rid of your towel or whatever you've had. And I'm going to go on my toes at my back here and sit on my heels. It's actually a relatively intense thing to do, as it should be. And just sort of take a moment here and see how that feels. You may want to sort of reposition your toes a little bit. You may not want to push all the way back. You may want to lean forward a little bit, see where the sensation is hitting you. And you're getting to the point where you feel that stretch, but you're not hurting yourself. Okay, now put your hands in front, facing forward, the eyes of your arms facing forward as well. And from here, sort of moving with your breath in and out through your nose, we sort of can move forward, which takes a little stress off you until you feel that strength, that sensation in your wrists. And then you exhale and back as far until you feel the sensation in your feet. And forward and back, just slowly moving with your breath. Now, put your fingers facing the side of your space, your mat, a couple inches apart, and we're going to keep on moving forward. And this time we'll just feel our wrists flexing the other way. Again, you don't want any sensation, the bad sensation here. Just moving back and forth with your breath. And if it's too intense for your feet, you can untuck your toes. And just moving in and out with your breath. Now, if you can, still on your toes, see if you can have your fingers face your knees. If you can't, then don't worry. You can put your fingers forward. You can do whatever you want, and you can just move a little bit side to side, and again moving forward and back. And as you move back, maybe your wrists rise off. It's less intense if you move your hands closer to your knees. It's more intense if you move them away. And just moving and shaking with your breath. Okay, so that's good. Inhale now. If you can stay on your feet for a little bit, and just sort of shake out your wrists a little bit. This is something you haven't probably done very much before. People don't really stretch their wrists, and they certainly don't stretch the back of their feet. Now, let's untuck our feet, and you'll feel that relief. Put your big toes together, and put your knees apart. Again, if you can do this. Now, you can also do this sitting on your heels this way. For me, I like to have my knees a little bit far apart, and I'm going to inhale again, and I'm going to walk forward. Now, this is called child's pose. It's sort of a good neutral balance pose, and you sort of want to walk your hands as far forward as you can. But maybe that's not that far. That's okay if it's not. Maybe you want to have your knees together. That's okay too. And again, you're going to inhale and make some space. And exhale, you might be able to go sink down a little bit lower each time. And we're just going to hold here for a few breaths. And if your forehead can touch the ground, that's great. And if it can't, that's great too. So your key is to try to keep your sitting on your heels. So less about moving forward, more about on your heels. So better that your head is higher off the ground and your hips are on your heels. Sort of experiment and play with how it feels as you inhale, creating space, and exhale. And maybe you can go deeper into this. Now inhale and come up into what we call tabletop, which is your knees below your hips, your wrists below your shoulders on all fours. You could tuck your toes if you'd like. I'm not going to. And we're going to do another one of the sort of key poses in yoga, especially for stretching at the beginning. It's called cat and cow, and it's alternating following your breath. Cow is when you drop your belly as far as you can and your butt goes up as far as it can and your head goes up. And when you exhale, your tailbone tucks underneath, your head tucks below, and your back goes arched as much as you can, separating your shoulder blades like a sort of scared cat. And you just move back and forth with your breath. So you inhale, everything drops to cow. And you exhale, push away the cat. So we're just going to slowly breathing from cat to cow. And really try to tuck your tailbone, separate your shoulder blades. Each breath is sort of taking 3 to 5 seconds in, and 3 to 5 seconds out. Almost done. And let's end wherever you are, just sort of on tabletop and not moving. So just check in with yourself. How do you feel there? How are things going? And now we're just going to see if we can do a little twist to this action. So we're going to inhale and we're going to put our right hand as far up to the ceiling as you can, and you're going to look at where your hand goes. Now, maybe you're not feeling all that twisty right now. Maybe you just want to lift your hand up. Maybe you want to put your hand to the side, and maybe you want to put your hand somewhere in between. And you just want to hold that and use that. So again, you want to use your core to do the twisting, as opposed to wrenching your arm around. And you only want to go as far as you can. So we follow on our inhale. So inhale, our right hand goes as high as you can. And we're just going to sit here for a second. And then one last inhale. Reach your arm forward as far as you can, like you're reaching over to grab something, and bring that down. And we'll do the same thing with our left hand. So inhale. Your left hand goes all the way to the sky as far as you can. We're just going to hold that. Maybe don't strain your face here. Just keep everything relaxed still. You're looking. Last inhale in. Reach all the way forward again. And come back and sit in tabletop there. Maybe you want to shake out things. Maybe you can feel that your body's moving well. Now let's just sit back on our heels. You can go cross-legged. And let's find a way that you feel like for getting standing up in the air. So maybe I shouldn't have gone back that far. We're going to go back into a ball, maybe, however you are. Maybe you want to sit with in a squat. But let's say that you bring able to roll back into a ball, and then you can slowly lifting yourself all the way up. Inhaling, put your hands over your head and bring yourself to this prayer position with your thumbs touching your sternum, with your wrists about the same height as your elbow, with your feet shoulder width apart, right? And this puts yourself into this concept, this sort of yogic concept of getting your body in unison and in balance and joining and having it all work together. And if you say this in this symmetrical pose here, you'll actually feel quite balanced. So as we sit here for just a few moments, I want you to interlace your fingers. And I want you to push your hands all the way as far as you can, reaching the other side of the room, separating your shoulder blades. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths. Now, on your next inhale, keep your hands interlaced, and you're going to put your hands above your head, kick your hips out as far as you can, but only as far as you can. Maybe you can only just lift them above. And just get a good sort of stretch. I like to say get some sun on your chest and on your face. Now inhale. And then exhale, interlace your hands the opposite way behind your back so it feels different. And just get some sun on your chest this way and stretch out forward as much as you can. Your chin will face up to the sun a little bit. And just sit here for a few moments, a few breaths. One last inhale in. And entwine your hands and go back to this prayer position. Now we're going to do one last thing here where we reach all the way to the sky again. And then you're going to hinge at your hips and slowly reach down to touch your toes. This is just a forward fold. If you want to bend your knees a little bit because that's easier, you can do that. And you're going to you're going to see if you can touch your toes. Maybe you can't. Maybe you're way up. Bend your knees to get down there, and then as you get down there, you can straighten up your legs and see if you can just let yourself hang there for a second. Keep breathing in and out through your nose. This will be good to know because when you come back to this, you'll really be able to see whether you could touch your toes more. And the last thing is inhale, do a halfway lift. So your hands come onto your shins. You try to make a 90-degree on your hips and your back. And you sit nice and strong there on an inhale. Then you exhale, you forward fold. You inhale the halfway lift. Exhale the forward fold. Then you go into a ball again and slowly rise all the way up. Inhale as you go, your hands above your head and back down to center. And that's all we're doing today. You take a few minutes here and just check in with your body. See how you feel, see how you're moving. and we'll see you in the next video. There's some more at the beginning of the channel that are sort of a little easier, and I'll do some more easy ones in the coming weeks. Until then, we'll see you then, and thanks for joining. Always talk to your healthcare professional before starting a new regime. If you experience pain, discomfort, or dizziness, slow down or stop. These videos will become easier each day, but if it doesn't feel right today, go slower or move to another video. Listen to your body.